This video focuses on verb tense, particularly present separable prefix verbs. What are separable prefix verbs? It is best to look at an example of one of these verbs first. Mitbringen means to bring with. It is a separable prefix verb. The verb portion is bringen. Mit is the prefix. This verb, like others similar to it, will be written with a dot between the prefix and the verb in the dictionary. This is done to show that this verb will separate at that spot and that it is a separable prefix verb. Here are a few examples of this verb used in different types of sentences. Ich bringe Käse mit. I bring cheese with me. This is a normal present tense sentence. The bold word bringe is the verb portion of mitbringen, conjugated for ich bringe. Mit, the prefix, is underlined and located at the end in this sentence. Another example is Ich muss Käse mitbringen. I have to bring cheese with me. This is also a present tense sentence, but in this sentence you have a modal verb. The modal verbs kick the other verbs to the end of the sentence, and those verbs will be in the infinitive. The infinitive of mitbringen is mitbringen. That is why in this sentence, mitbringen is written as one word and at the end of the sentence. This is because we had a modal verb. In a present tense sentence which does not contain a modal verb, the verb is conjugated in the second position and the prefix is at the end. That is the normal formula for separable prefix verbs. It is helpful to recognize common prefixes so that these verbs are easier to spot. Common prefixes that separate are ab, on, auf, aus, bei, durch, ein, fern, her, hin, mit, nach, vor, weg, wieder, zu, and zusammen. There are many more prefixes, but these are the most common. This chart has a list of common separable prefix verbs. You can see the verbs in the infinitive on the left and their definitions on the right. The goal in this activity is to see if you can pick out what the prefixes are in each of those verbs. Why don't you pause the video and try this on your own? The prefixes are on, auf, aus, ein, durch, fern, mit, vor, and zurück. Separable prefix verbs conjugate like normal verbs, following other present tense verb rules. The only difference is that the prefix goes at the end. That means that the rest goes in the middle, between the verb and the prefix. There is an example below. First, we will conjugate einkaufen together. Note the verb portion of einkaufen is kaufen. That means that the prefix is ein. So, for ich, that will be ich kaufe ein. That means I shop. Du kaufst ein. Sie es kauft ein. Wir kaufen ein. Ihr kauft ein. Sie und sie kaufen ein. Here we have our example, our first one. Du kaufst am Wochenende ein. Note, this is you shop on the weekend. Kaufst is in the second position and conjugated for the subject, and the prefix ein is at the end. Another example is Du kaufst am Wochenende mit deiner Freundin ein. You shop on the weekend with your friend. Kaufst is still in the second position and ein is still at the end. Now we have Du kaufst am Wochenende mit deiner Freundin im Kaufhaus ein. You are shopping on the weekend with your friend in the department store. Note kaufst is still in the second position and conjugated for du, and ein is at the end. It doesn't matter how much stuff is between the conjugated verb and the prefix still goes at the end. There's another example below. Sehen is a stem vowel changer, so the du and RZS forms change from E to IE, just like Zayn did in the video about stem vowel changing verbs. This means that if the verb is normally a stem vowel changer, it will continue to do so and be one as a separable prefix verb. Any other irregularities will also stay the same. The verbs don't change, they just get a prefix. So here we have Fernsehen. We're going to conjugate Fernsehen for our pronouns below. So for ich, I would have Ich sehe fern. I watch TV. Du siehst fern. Sie es sieht fern. Wir sehen fern. Ihr seht fern. Sie und sie sehen fern. Our first sentence is Du siehst am Dienstagabend fern. You watch television on Tuesday evening. Next we have Du siehst am Dienstagabend mit deiner Familie fern. This time you are watching television on Tuesday evening with your family. Du siehst am Dienstagabend mit deiner Familie zu Hause fern. Now you're watching television on Tuesday evening with your family at home. This is just like our previous examples in the previous slide. Siehst is conjugated in the second position and fern, the prefix, will be at the end every time. It doesn't matter how much stuff is between the conjugated verb and the prefix still goes at the end. Below we have 4 examples. Why don't you take a moment, pause the video, and do the examples on your own. I just added 2 more to be tricky, so pause the video again and do those last 2 on your own. Number 1, you have Ich rufe meine Schwester an. For number 2, steht 7 Uhr auf. For number 3, lädst du Stefan zur Party ein? Some of you are looking at lädst and are very confused. The verb should be latest, you know this, but there is no E added in this verb's due form. This has to do with the fact that it is a stem vowel changer. It is irregular. Number 4, your answer is Das Kind sieht sich am Morgen an. Number 5, Der Student bereitet das Referat vor. And number 6, Kommt sie mit? Please review this video if you have any questions or ask in class.